Hello, 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 everyone. Happy Fed Day. Maybe it should be called the Fed Up Day because it seemed to be a Fed Up Day. How are you doing? I guess, hey, William, I guess it was beautiful if you're along. I mean, we've covered the long upside things. Waka. Hey, Waka, I haven't seen you in a bit. Well, what BS from the Fed? So pissed. Just think about they are doing 350 basis point moves. Well, that is just 2 basis point moves in shorter time frame would get inflation down faster. We know it needs to be 800 basis points. I It's a joke. Okay, it's a joke. I disagree, Davey. I think there was some interesting news in the presser, especially the 75 basis point being off the table. And the fact that they've lost all credibility a long time ago with me. I mean, they're willing to telegraph stuff out, at least that, but I don't know what data they're looking at. There's like no slowing down. We just had a negative GDP print. You get two of them, it used to be the definition of a recession. There's no slowing down. Again, he's stressing job openings. I thought there was a lot of information from the presser. Bill Gates today on a short Tesla stock went down, and whoever short make money. I don't think whether one's short or long Tesla is a statement about your seriousness about climate change. Again, your position is you could take a short position on a stock, on a supposedly green stock, and still be for climate change. You can take a long position in an oil company and still be for climate change. It's all crap. Don't mix up trade unless you're an activist investor or an activist something that says, I will never do this and my portfolio is based on that. Fine. But anybody else, it's all about a trade or an investment. It's just a complete joke. Most of what he said was hawkish, but markets only taking the 50 basis point news just because they don't want 75 basis points the next time, 100 basis point move we talked about, and talking down the 150 basis points. And you also remember, it's not just that. We already were, with cycles turning up, we were in negative gamma mode, which amplifies rallies and declines, and it just became a feeding frenzy. Okay? There's a great thing. I was talking to a bunch of people this afternoon, and one of the things that's circulating is, neutral rate is the new transitory, because they're just going to be talking about neutral rate, just as like to say we're stuck on transitory for 9 months and that proved incorrect. Now they're stuck on neutral rates and that's going to be incorrect. Who knows what's going to happen? The bigger thing is I wish they'd tame inflation faster, just because it hurts the general population a lot. And the other thing now is the other people I talked to, which had lightened up a bit, that are more, I'll lump them in the retail crowd. They're all back in. They're all like, this is going to everything's fine. See, we're up over 3%. Everything's fine. We're all going back in. All in. Buy the dip, all in. It's just going to end up hurting people in the longer run. That's my take on it. But it doesn't matter. It's just about trading. I just think these markets are going to eventually crush people. This is another short-term rally to be sold like you've been preaching. Yep. It's another short-term rally to be sold. I'm not saying tomorrow. Hey, everyone, hope everybody made some money today. Yeah. Or at least didn't lose money. I hope you weren't short a lot of stuff. Good afternoon. Fed really thinks it has inflation under control. This is worrisome. I don't know what the Fed thinks. It's like they thought everything was transitory, and now they think, we'll just go a little slower. But yet inflation might remain elevated for a longer period of time, but you're ruling out more aggressive rate hikes. One time they say one thing, another same press conference, a different message comes out. I took this as very, very dovish. Very dovish. And that the fact that they don't know what the crap they're talking about. So, hey, Lauren, but you got to just trade the markets as they are. And you shouldn't have been surprised with the rally. Market likes thinking Fed can thread the needle. Who's drinking that Kool-Aid? I don't know. I'm not. They're not going to thread the needle. Oh, boy. And no, they can't support. They can't do some supply chain issues. I agree with that, but they can't. They can't, they're just not managing stuff. Get prepared for inflation to get really, really entrenched unless we tip over really rapidly into a recession, and it's a major recession. Uh, I'm pissed. GDP will be worse than Q2. It could be. We could have two quarters, which would then make it real interesting. So you're ruling out more aggressive rate hikes to get us out of this quicker. But then let's say we do tip into second print in Q2 of negative growth. Then what you gonna do? You're gonna what? Go back to saying we're at 1%. We're just gonna keep it there, or we're at 1.5%. We're gonna keep it there. It'll be so interesting. This affects worst off people who pay money they earn for energy and food. What he said was insulting. I agree. I think it really hurts the general population. The longer you let this high, even if 4% or 5% inflation hurts the general population a lot. And it hurts people who have to live, off their, and buy what you said, waka waka, energy, food, who aren't in the markets. VGT, VAW, and VGK FTSE triggered daily double bottoms on the close, I think. Remind me, we can look at this. Neutral rate is 2 or 3, which he didn't want to say. They don't even know what it is. I think this Fed is absolutely clueless. And they have no real world experience. They probably have somebody do their grocery shopping for them. I mean, at this point, it doesn't matter though. It's happy out there. Hey, Lauren, thanks for the super sticker. Yeah, that's a good one. I wish it would pop up in there. Thank you. It feels like I'm dreaming. This can't be real. It's real. May you live in interesting market conditions. Hey, Maddox. This is Sterling on my son's computer again. Okay, I'm sorry. Hey, Maddox Sterling. I guess we know your son's name is Maddox. So big shout out to Maddox, who you get to use his computer. Hey, Christoph, how are you? How are things overseas? They have someone doing the grocery shopping for sure, and probably filling up their car. And they're just like, and they probably have that Federal Reserve charge card that all gets charged to, so they don't see the bills. I mean, I hate going to the store anymore. Every time, even at Costco, I'm like, that went up another $2 a bag for that? Come on, it's not. Oh, jeez. Oh, well. It is what it is. Let's just have some fun. What we can get upset. We can complain about it. The Fed has become more a political entity than anything else, and this is, I think this is going to end up in tears. And the more you're letting the markets just keep going and getting everybody sucked back in, and then when we get that bigger collapse, remember 2000, they started the hike, and then a short while after that, the bottom gave out. Remember that? So this will be fun. This will be fun, won't it? Because there's nowhere to go but put your money in the markets. Nasdaq up 673.25 from lows to high today. Dystopia, next stop ahead. Hey, welcome, W Browser. Haven't seen you in a couple live streams. Thank you for being back. Never in my life have I seen a FOMC rally like today. Last one I remember like today was back, I think, in March of 2000. Last one that triggers my mind with a rate hike was March of 2000 or 2001. Sometime back then, it was back from the .com. It was right before the bottom just friggin' gave out. I liked his neutral explanation. Again, his neutral will be the new transitory. That's what you watch. You just watch. I like that thing. I'm not pissed, just riding the wave now. Well, that's why you're wavy. What can we short in the next few weeks? Well, why don't we see how this rally progresses, and then we'll see what can be shortable, because there'll be good shorts setting up again. Just wouldn't rush out to short anything tomorrow. Powell practically spoke to me and said go long. Well, I guess he spoke to a lot of people and said go long. By the way, I just want to touch on something before we get lost in the sort of the Fed quagmire. And before I even do that, by the way, if you're new here and find this entertaining and useful, we'll get into some market analysis in a bit. Please do consider subscribing and ringing that bell. Longer term people, keep the comments coming up and like or dislike the video depending on what I say. All right. FOMC meetings equal pump. FOMC meetings equal dumps. Hey, yes, Lauren. Interesting enough, ISM non-manufacturing, a slight contraction, actually a little bigger contraction than I thought. Look at this, employment. And they don't see anything in that could be troubling. Employment is now actually in contraction mode. Employment's in contraction mode, which really jumped out at me and I think contributed to that slight sell-off this morning. Hold on one second. I've been talking all afternoon to people and need to take a couple sips of stuff. I'm already parched. But that was interesting for me. We're going to keep an eye on that. Then we had the Fed interest rates with the 50 basis point hike. You can't see much red on here, so we don't even have to talk about that. Green a lot across the board. If it was still in red, I would be concerned. FOMC June now, we're at 75 to 100. So again, I think this will start dropping. This will start going up, but we're going to be starting to watch for that 125 to 150 basis point. And we're closing in back on neutral gamma. So right around 4,400, which means if we continue to rally above 4,400, we go into positive gamma, which has a slight dampening effect. It really starts kicking in about 4,600. So just keep that in mind. For tomorrow, economic calendar, we got jobless claims continuing and initial, and that's really key for tomorrow. That's at 7:30, so we'll get to review that on the live stream. Then if anybody, let's see, also, just for the point of completeness, after the close today, I haven't looked at anything. I've been too busy. But Marathon Oil, I wonder if that's up with oil being up still and with all these stuff. Don't know how Etsy did. I got to check on that. I'm just curious for all the people doing business on Etsy. Etsy is like the old way eBay used to be for me. So just wanted to look at that. And then tomorrow morning, there's our Shopify. Oh, got to look in on my Crocs. I don't even own a pair of Crocs. I've never owned a pair of Crocs. And ConocoPhillips tomorrow morning. Where else do we sit? There's the big, massive, rip your face off green bar rally. How long do you see this rally lasting? It could go on. Ask me that in a couple more days. We're getting to a little more cycle tops. We're not near anything overbought. Cycles aren't topping yet. We're against the daily rotation zone, but what I'm more paying attention to is the weekly rotation zone. I mean, the daily, I doubt will cross. So even if we run up above the top of the daily, which is, I'm really focused on the 62.5 area up here at the top of the, the top. Even if we get above the daily, which tomorrow is about 43.11, that doesn't bother me because I don't think we'll get the cross of the daily. I'm more interested in the weekly, and the bottom of the weekly is just below the 50% retracement of this move, and the top is by the 62.5. So this is the area I'm really focused on for a continuing rally. Even if you were to get that close above the 62.5, really, I'd be really then focusing on the top of these candle body moves in the 87.5 area. Keep in mind that in order for us to get really bullish, we need a close above 45.26. So we're a long way off from there still. Shorter term price action. Shorter term price action. Let's just go back here. Again, pulled back slightly in the morning. By the way, people who thought this was a double bottom, it was not. So don't get faked out by that. Raising this up now. Raising this up. Key pullback area, I'm going to watch. I mean, the 1 hour, that's how much momentum you had on. One hour is very oversold at cycle top, so I would not be surprised to see a slight overnight pullback. I'm watching about 42.72, and then major coming in about 42.46 to 42.42 with the rising 1 hour rotation zone. That's what I will be watching tonight, overnight, and tomorrow. Closing on the 4 hour just above this resistance, but not above this key level that I updated this. That black line was something I was updating intraday. On a move back up, I'm really focused on 4,300. And then we go into a slight little bump up move. Minor. So we got 4,300. We got 43.34 to about 43.45 is a major cluster area. 43.64 and then 43.86. Keep in mind, everywhere in here is the area between the 50 and the 62 where I watch for potential rollover trades. And the flat 200 is at 44.13 right at the 62.5 on that 4 hour. And that's just below the 50-day. Would not be surprised to see it continue to rally up here at all. And you have this prior breakdown zone. So this was support becoming resistance. So that's really on a continued Thursday, Friday rally. Those are my major targets. If we get to them tomorrow, then we'll update it for the longer term. But those are my major targets. Hey, Dan Jet. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So where do we sit? Nasdaq, remember we still had that double in play. And I talked about we broke slightly below the 50. Look at that, 62.5 level, and then taking off from there. And the little downdraft before the Fed. By the way, the first move, people want to know what was the fake out. I talk about the fake out, then the real move. This was the fake out move. This was the real move. Let's see. But coming back down there and then completing all those double targets. So that's where this wasn't even a stop out play on those double targets. So all that is good. All that's good. We got through all those targets. So hopefully I know some people are along the queues still. By the way, it did confirm this bigger double on this daily basis. This bigger double is confirmed. Did not get a close above it. So still slightly lower probabilities because no close above it. But it is confirmed. So next targets for this is 13,910, 14,097, 14,282, which virtually takes you back to the 62.5. So does this favor continued price action on the Nasdaq higher? Yes, it does. Once it closes a bit above there, it really, the probabilities shift up even more. Same thing, a minor level I'm watching is about 13,450. Major, I'm coming back to 13,350 area with the rising rotation zone. We can also pump the harmonics up here just to see where that fits in. So those are what I'm watching for with the pullback moves overnight. I'm using the harmonics since we're so far away from the rotation zone. You might get some support around here, but I'm just keying off the harmonic. It's close enough. Remember, these aren't exact lines of sand. Just because it hits a level does not mean you just buy or sell directly at that level. It's an area. What else? Oh, yeah, the harmonics. Look at that. 37.5% retracement harmonic with the new 12.5% projection harmonic in this breakdown zone. Fantastic level to start targeting for tomorrow, 13,662. Above that, 13,766 and 13,912. Those are your actionable levels up above. Just in case, what would your if you were going to ask me if we don't go or we start rolling over, where do I tip back to bearish? I'm going to tell you the 62.5 from this run up. So that would be back around 13,030. Where do we have it? Let's me keep going with this. Dow. Coming back up here. I mean, we hit this 33,900. This was the major resistance once we got through to 33.7. So let me just update these. Again, the major thing tipping back to bearish wouldn't be until about a below about 33,000. The short-term levels in the Dow now. Oh, these things are a thing of beauty. So major cluster 34,238 to about 34,303. Right in here will be my next target on a continued rally. And then actually a close above that puts the close back above that 4-hour 200. Moves above the 50. That's really the levels I'm watching. Again, just slightly higher than the breakdown zone, but a close above that, actually, then we could see a retest of the 200 area on the Dow. Pullback levels overnight. Roughly 33,823, and then I'll be keying off of 33,613. Why aren't I going all the way there? Because this will keep rising as long as this stays elevated, so I'm watching the 25% retracement harmonic. Russell, for the point of completeness, I know a bunch of people trade a bunch of different things. How did that get moved? There we go. Coming up that 37.5, and this is at the prior breakdown zone. I mean, that even rallied through this 1931 area. If it does continue higher, we still have the weekly, right by the weekly breakdown zone with the rotation zone. So my next target is about 1979. There's your rally breaking above that area I was watching in the DAX. So my next target is 14,330. If we get above 14,330, then I'm going back to about 14.5 area. Crude coming up here, peaking above that 108 level, but could not sustain anything above that 108 level. You remember I watched for the break and the retest. Break, rejection, break, rejection, break. All right, are we going to retest? No. So, still keying off that level short term. That's the short-term level I'm watching, which happens to be the defining point on a trend line. If you want to know what the defining point is, please watch the trend line videos. So tomorrow, I'm going to be keeping an eye on that. If we do break above, get a break and retest 111 to 111.50 area, and then 113.27, and then 116.30. Where you don't want to see it drop back below now, the short-term base that it broke out from, I don't want to see it back below about 105.25. By the way, did anybody see natural gas? I don't cover this regularly, but this has been some great stuff. Back to the daily rotation zone, climbing back up and then hitting right shy of the next harmonic and pausing there. But this, I mean, look at natural gas. Inflation's going away, isn't it? Look at natural gas. There's another one. Back to the weekly rotation zone. Just wanted to point this out because even if you don't trade a market, it's really helpful to look at this. This was a great case study. So breaking out above resistance, moving on up to the east side. I used to live on the Upper East Side in New York City, 70th and 1st. 64 coming back right here with the rising weekly rotation zone to the prior breakout level and the daily rotation zone, and then the rotation back up. I'm starting to watch to see if we start getting divergence now with the pullback play. The aggressive pullback play would be to 782. Just wanted to point that out for the sake of people trying to learn this stuff. Gold, nice little rally back to the daily rotation zone. What I was really interested in, I'm going to keep to see if this gets back to 1912, where again there's a buy dip down here. I'm now watching to see how it can do at 1912 to unwind a little on the core position. Silver, look at silver. This is a little great instruction too if you're trading around a core position, as it was a buy down here based off a harmonic, not the double, because the double wasn't in place yet. This triggered the little double. So now I am personally a little more patient coming up to this, my first unwind area was going to be right around this 2341, but I'm a little more patient for a potential slightly higher push to unwind. And then it's still unwind because we could easily backfill this. But that's what I'm paying attention to. Notes, nice little rally still. Nice little rally you see here. It was almost going to be a little double bottom play, but this spike down negated it. Then we got the pop-up. I'm still watching for the longer-term bottom to get put in. Returning to 1 hour rotation zone, the level I'm focused on tomorrow is 119.20. I want to see how it reacts to that. But we do have still that potential double in the play for notes. Dollar index, you see here, triggering that double. This was not enough to make it a triple, triggering that double and looking for a bigger pullback now in the dollar index. I did see somebody put on the VIX. Right back to the 62.5 from this run-up move. So we didn't close below it, which was interesting enough. If we start breaking below it tomorrow, though, I'm then watching for, with a continued rally, for a return to about 2075 area. You can see the custom Apple index moving on up back to the daily rotation zone. If this continues higher, 66, here we go. 66.66, I'm just kidding, 66.60 area. What else do we have? Let me see. Thank you for posting that, Sean. VIX stopped at 62.5%. The volatility in the markets is crazy. Well, that's what you get from this Fed. Buy 130, sell 2, buy 215, sell 315. Well, if you were managed to do that exactly right, Abraham, that would be a very impressive moves. Post a potential 1 hour double bottom on RDBX. Yeah, that's still in play. You do have a potential double on RDBX. Again, I'd have to get above 834, which would also be a gap fill play. 927, 973, 1019. Lots of retail interest in this one. Interesting, that barely moved though. Barely, I mean, it was up a bit, but back to that 200. But that was, it'd be interesting to see how that plays out in the next couple days. By the way, it's not something to front run. I just wait above 834 on that. Thoughts on, welcome George, thoughts on Amazon? Amazon, what do you have here? This was not enough to make it a triple, by the way, in my book. With right off that harmonic cluster area, really, you start getting above 25.24. Let me just put those down. 25.24, you got 26.02, 26.41, 26.81 to the upside. That's a little 1 hour double. Also, you can see it on that 4 hour with the 4 hour rotation zone, could be possibly out of the way. Then you also have this major gap fill. Now, it's not something to target. Look at this. With the 4 hour, you need the close above 2,700 roughly to really target that gap fill. But you could easily come up into this 4 hour rotation zone and then roll over again. So there could be a continuing with the market rally, a continuing upside play in Amazon. Also, you have cycles moving up. Let's just check that daily chart. Cycles starting at the bottom and moving up also. And you can see that double play on the daily. And the second target here would just be back to the daily rotation zone. So I would not ignore that. And the 50% level of this of the gap play area. So for trading this, if you're going to trade it, first target is 2602. I just make that 2600 with the round number to raise a stop, and then really focus on 2633 to about 2645 for the next significant target. There's your Amazon, George. Sorry, got a leg cramp there. Ooh, had to slide back. Joining late. My favorite quote was, "I think we can still have a softish landing." Yeah, that was a good one today. I forgot about that one, Jake. I think we can still. You know, you're playing around with stuff. These guys, that's why it's a friggin' joke. That's why it's a friggin' joke. So with that, you know what? I wish the sticker would show up. But Lord, with the super chats, Hippo character doing really fast dance on his chair, propelling the chair across the room. That's what the Fed should be doing. You know, whoa! The friggin' Hippo dance. Is Amazon a percent B buy? Not on the daily. Not on the 4 hour. So no, the only buy thing is this double. Nat gas cup handle. It hit exactly the top of the cup value and retracing. Thank you for putting that out there, Waka Waka. I love that handle name, Waka Waka. If VIX hits 20, is going to sell my house and buy into the VIX. You might be selling. Well, that could be a good play. I mean, housing is still, we could be at the very end of this massive housing boom in the short term. So you sell your house, you go all in the VIX, and wait for the markets to unravel again. There you go. There's your pair trade, Waka Waka. I just don't, you have someplace to live, though. If you sell your house, you can't live in the VIX. You could live in a van, but not the VIX. All right. Thank you for reminding me. VGT for Michael. Thank you for being here, by the way. So VGT, which is a Vanguard Information Tech ETF, you do have a valid double here. That is triggered on a daily basis. Targets 395.93, 401.20, 406.47. So I want to see how that falls in with the retracements. So I'd really focus on, just because the 62.5 levels right there, I might bump down the final target just a bit to about 404.56. And then if it got above there, I'd have a short-term potential gap play. But these would be my first two major targets, and then this would be minor. And then if it hit this, I'd watch for the gap play. And by the way, the trigger for the gap play would be a close right above that 50. Right above the 50, right below that first target. So you get a close there. That could actually favor then a gap play fill too. VAW. Let's see if this one works. Again, I have to measure these out. Yep, works. This one, do not use the third target on. 197.44, 199.97 right in front of that 200s. Do not use that third target. Lower probability, and in this market would not target it. You're above the 62.5, so this would be my major target area. 198.72 to 199.97. There you go for, that's the materials ETF. And what was your last one? VGK. That's a little... Oof. How did that play with the most recent swing harmonic? Just right down there. All right. No, 59.59. What was the close? 59.56. So not triggered on a closing basis. This would be my least favorite one on this. You do have a couple gaps. A 60.43, 60.83, 61.23. Still a valid pattern. This would be my least favorite of here. I'd really focus on the second target, especially since it's right by the breakdown zone. But all those three are valid. All those three are valid. He's doing the money dance. He's doing the brr printing dance. Printer go brr. Got a cardboard box. All is good. At least you got anything to sleep on in that cardboard box, Waka Waka. I do like your pair trade. Selling the house, going long the VIX. Just wait till that VIX dips down, and then, yeah, I like it. Good. We got some laugh out louds from Laura and HCDI. Ooh. Where do you guys find some of these? Oh, boy. That is an ugly backfill move. Didn't get below the 62.5. Rising rotation zone. So here's the way I like to do these. If you have to trade this, this would not be my preferred manner of trading. But you're at this prior resistance becoming support level right at the 62.5, around 259. As long as you don't close above there, I just play the harmonics higher because, look, this 37.5 harmonic right at this resistance level. And then you can use these to either move stops or ratchet stuff up. I just don't ever like to see that kind of move. And you got earnings coming up shortly. So you can stay in bullish mode, but you get a close below that 259. No more bullish mode for me. Trading below its real estate value, that's fine, but there's got to be something else. I'd have to really invest. This is Harbor and Custom Development. I'd really have to look into this closely. It's just, if you just want to play the pure technicals, that 62.5 level, 259 is going to be key. Mike, with rates going 175 to 2% long-term and quantitative tightening on the long term, we are going lower. Yes, and I'm not doing that based off the Federal Reserve and everything else. I'm still doing it based off the systems I follow. And we're still at elevated. We're still at completely elevated PEs. You think they're going to make a soft landing and we're going to avoid a recession? Even if we, let's say next quarter prints a positive GDP, you think we're going to go like in the next year without getting a recession with inflation still elevated? Gas, look at gas and food. Look at the stuff that people have to buy. It's going to slowly chip away at stuff. Unless we get unless we get oil coming down. I mean, look, oil, did you see oil dropping even with China's lockdowns and everything else? Do you see oil, crude coming down? Is the Ukraine thing gone away? Are the sanctions lifted off of Russia? You got slowing down in China, which they're probably going to have to cut stuff there, at least cut their peg. You know, this isn't going away. Even if it dips back to 94, it's not going away. Look at oil. Look at this. You know, and this back in 2011 to 2013 is very different from conditions now. We were in major quantitative easing, you know, up here with the stuff is starting to boom more. And now we're back up here in terms of oil with everything slowing down, and plus not just oil inflation, but everything else. So separate from my technical systems, there are bearish headwinds on the market, and you will get the rip your face off rallies. Thanks, but awesome as always. The sector review was awesome this week. I am glad you liked it. Thank you for tuning into the sector review. And if you're new here, you should definitely check out the sector review. It will help your trading. One of the reasons I'm also putting that out there is because I want people to start to look at the bigger pictures, not just the macro of the market, but the macro of the sectors you might have stocks in or plays in. The more you can round out your trading and investing perspective, the better off you will be. That's why I'm putting this stuff out there too. Hey, cardboard box, wife will kill me, but hey, it's prime retail. Can be anywhere in open plan. Top it off, no tax. Where are you putting the cardboard box? Yeah, I guarantee the cardboard box is an open floor plan though. You know, and you put a little single burner cooktop in there. You might want to make an induction because I wouldn't want necessarily a flame in my cardboard box. Uh, I like that, but but if you're on land, you have to pay the property tax, or are you just going to put it like? Are you going to boondock like in a Cracker Barrel parking lot? You could be boondocking. Could you look at XLC? Sure, I could. Maybe it's a boondock box. XLC, we still had triggered that double first target hit. I mean, you had to get in intraday on this move, but first target hit. I could easily see this hitting both the targets. Next target is about 63.52, 64.05. And I talked about this. I was watching for a short-term bounce in this. Now, long-term, I'm still bearish. But short-term, you see how far we got off that rotation zone? Remember, you get too far off the rotation zone, you get the snap back to it. Remember, last time, snap back to it, roll over. Still watching. This was a nice trigger for the snapback move, though. So XLC, you still have two targets higher, and theoretically, could it run even higher than that? Theoretically, yes. We don't have a reversal pattern yet, but the next target I'd use would be about 65. 65 is just into that weekly rotation zone. Hope everyone's getting this. I mean, it might be boring by me saying, I do the same thing over and over again, but it works. There's no need to make this more complicated than what works. And I hope you're starting to see how my thought process works. BP, again, completed the double yesterday. Now moving up here as we got the close above the level I talked about yesterday. So my next target is 32.48. I now want to see I also want to see this. I did that backwards. Why didn't somebody tell me? I want to see this whole move now. There we go. And that's a close above the 62.5. So look at that. Target right at the 75, 32.50. And then above there, it's got the probabilities to go back to 33.32. Right there. And you still do have a mini gap there too, interesting enough. So there. I mean, this is now it's still valid on pullback plays. Still valid. And what do you think I'd tell you? What would invalidate that? A close back below about 29.43, which is interesting enough, right where this breakout from that double took place. So until you get below there, it's still in longer term bullish mode. No way in hell will GDP in Q2 be positive. 2 misses, recession officially. That is game over for the markets. We will see on that. I think we could. I told Bob when I was on, what was it last week? I said I see a recession a lot sooner than he does. I'm not disagreeing with you, Waka Waka. I tweeted market will have a rip your face off dump last week and got banned. Talk about free speech, shorting Twitter now. With Elon still supposedly buying Twitter, it sure as hell ain't acting like it yet. Again, it should be trading up here, not here. Sean, $10 super sticker. Leveling up. I like the game control. I want the super stickers to appear on I'm using Ecamm Live and the super stickers don't appear on here. I hope they upgrade that so I can see them on here without having to go back and reviewing it on YouTube, which I will do. Thank you so much for that super chat, Sean. Are we going up for another week and then start dumping before the next FOMC? Do you see SPY going down more than 20%? I see SPY within the next few months breaking below these lows easily. Next week, do we continue through next week? I think unless something shocking happens, I think we continue through this week. And then I'll have to run some of my long-term analysis this weekend because it really depends. I mean, we're still in tactical trading mode. If we were in the normal just bull market like this, it's a lot easier to predict. This still sits in tactical trading mode. So, but I'm watching still. Cycles are not at the top on the daily, and we could easily get back to that weekly rotation zone, which we're not there yet. So I'm favoring a continued rally, and we confirmed the double on the Nasdaq. So that also statistically favors continued higher prices. That's what there's the logic behind it. BP looks like a bear flag. No. On what time? On this? No. Not really. That's a really horrible flag pattern. I wouldn't trade that as a flag. And you could trade it as a channel pattern, and you're at the upper end, so you could see a pause here. I mean, it's at cycle topping, so I wouldn't. I mean, nothing has to go straight up, but longer term, I'd still be watching for a buy the dip opportunity in oil, especially since crude's still strong, and crude's actually moving up now. Tried and true repetition. That's why you don't see me sometimes I add some new things just that I watch in the background just to help round out the people who've been here a little longer to show you what else I watch for. But you can just do, if you stripped away everything else, I could just do this off of price action with, harmonics and just key levels. Your trading course is like Elon with his full self-driving. Is it ever coming out? Looking forward to it. Yeah. All right. If I go for, when did he start announcing full self-driving? Back in 2015? 2017? I don't even remember. 17? If it goes that long, then yes, you can equate me to Elon. It's also, Sean, why I try to teach a lot of stuff in these live streams. If you pay attention, you turn in regularly, you're going to get a lot of stuff. I share a lot of information. If you see, I'm not out here to milk people for money. I'm here to help them. And if I help you and you want to do a donation, that's also wonderful. I share a ton of information here that if you watch regularly enough, you can piece together a lot of stuff. I don't do this to try to sell courses. I will because people are asking for them, but I don't do this to try. My heart is to try to help people. You don't see 46 courses listed and me promoting them. Tune into my live stream so you can buy more stuff from me. I have a price target of 6,600 for Nasdaq. Then we might all be living in cardboard boxes, waka waka. What are you trying to do? Most people teach people to trade stocks. You teach us to trade patterns and levels. Yes, because then you can take it and do with anything with it. You can trade futures. You can trade FX. You can trade crypto. Don't pump and dump things. Different story because you have that mania in it, so the levels don't work quite as well because that's not natural trading. But Bitcoin, you can trade with it. Ethereum, you can trade with it. Whatever Elon's latest ape coin he's promoting that went nuts. But yeah, this is applicable to anything. A new thing comes out. I don't know if you can trade NFTs with it. But other than that, you can pretty much trade. Like if egg futures got relisted at some point, you could trade egg futures with it. Remember, there used to be egg futures. So that's why I'm teaching this stuff, because you could, something else comes up, some hot thing comes out. Can you trade it? Yeah, as long as it's not a mania thing. Yeah. Go ahead, use these things. It's fantastic. That's the point of it. All right. There we go. I didn't plan on going this long. So I hope you learned things. Again, Sean, thank you for the super chat. Again, if I helped anybody else, consider doing a super chat or a Patreon or a buy me a coffee. It really does help. It actually takes some money to run this channel. And it doesn't break even, let me put it that way. So all the super chats, and Lauren, thanks for the super sticker, the super stickers, the super chats, they all go to keep this thing going. 2 times, sometimes 3 times a day, and on weekends. So please do consider. And I like to give information out, and I like to ask for donations, because that way if I help people, you can donate. What was this bigger thing? Oh, yeah. By the way, BP, I just want to remind you, we're still in, where was that? Where was that? Let's see. Who said it was looks like a bear flag, waka waka? By the way, BP was triggered this massive double bottom. You can even see it on the monthly basis. This is why I don't think this is going away. You can see that double bottom on the monthly basis. Rotation zones. This is why I'm not worried about pullbacks in BP right now. See the last few pullbacks, look. Pull back to the 200 area, a little below it, but then pull back to the 200, pull back to the 200, pull back to the 200, pull back to the 200. But you're in a bigger target pattern, and we could eventually easily see this run up to 35 easily. Just keep the macro patterns in mind. All right? And look, overall, you could easily see BP back up in this with this pattern. Does it have, this could take another year to get up here, though. All right, that's where we'll wrap it up. And if you are new here or watching it on replay and this information has helped you and you'd like to be part of this wonderful community, please do consider subscribing, ringing that bell so you know when the streams go live, liking the videos, that helps out the channel, and leaving some comments, which also helps out the channel and keeps it growing and keeps me coming back. So with that, I will talk to everyone later. Hope you all had a wonderful trading day. I will see you at 8 a.m. Central tomorrow, and we will figure out, based off the price action tonight, how we will update our tactical trading levels going into tomorrow, and any patterns I see with the overall price data to help you. Everything is short-term plays. They're only short-term plays. Yes. We are buying stocks right now, but short-term plays. I wonder. It's not something I'm walking away from. It's not something, all right, like NVIDIA. Double triggered today. Short-term play. This is not something I'm going, all right, NVIDIA is going back to 335. No, this is short-term play. Just wanted to throw that in there too. Sorry, I had the box. Here's your double. You can see it on that 4-hour. There's that double. This did not invalidate it. Closing basis on that 4-hour where it looks really nice. Triggered it. 210.45, 215.03, 219.61. We will leave it at that. Thank you again for everybody for being here. Talk to you later. Bye for now.